Hello class, this is Spencer Shelton and here is my research project for MEMF2. What I did my research project on was the game engine called cocos2d. cocos2d is an open source 2D game engine that is MIT licensed, commercially friendly, and compatible with both open and closed um, source games. You can build games in Xcode using Swift or Objective-C, and it supports iOS, Mac, and Android. It has a clean API with great documentary, an active and friendly community, and comes with plenty of examples and tutorials. Next, it has a visual editor called Sprite Builder, which is a complete visual game studio for cocos2d, allowing you to create everything from animations and scenes to physics and sprite sheets. So let's begin. To download Sprite Builder, all you have to do is go to the App Store and download it. It is free of charge. Once you download it, we can open it up, and let's open up Sprite Builder. So this is the Sprite Builder. So I'm going to open up a new application or make a new Sprite Builder just for you to see the beginning process. So you would name it, name. You can pick your language. Obviously, we would go with Swift because that's what we're learning at the moment. And I'm going to create it. And this is what you'd get off the off the bat. And let me show you first one little trick you can do if you wanted to change the orientation of your game. You do it through options here. You can go to landscape to portrait and it will flip it. But for my game's sake, I'm going to show you how I use Sprite Builder with my actual game. So let me open that up. Alright, to begin, I'm going to show you my main scene. The first thing I did was to get pictures, to be able to drag onto the screen. All you have to do is drag the pictures into a folder on your left panel, and you can access all of your any images that you like through the left panel. As you can see, these are images I bought for the game. Next, to create this background, which is right here, all I did was drag and drop the background. Now you can position the background however you'd like. You can either do it through moving it, how I am now, or you can do it through this side panel. So the next thing I want to show you is how I created my actual custom animation. I created the character too. He's one of my street art characters named Zombie Horde. So I'll show you how I did that. We'll actually start from scratch. So you create a new file. We want to create a sprite. I'll name him Zombie Horde 2. And you click on the CC sprite and pick your image. Could be him. Then to create a timeline, you want to set the timeline duration. This is how long you want your animation to be. I don't remember exactly what mine was before. I know 1 second was too long, but I'm going to do it anyway. I did it 2 frames. And now that is the gap of how long your animation will be. So if you wanted to change the frame of the animation on the, I think that's the 1/10 of a second, you can either go up here to, where is it? Insert frame, sprite frame, or you can just click F, which is what I've been doing lately, and then you simple as changing the image. So now I clicked the wrong one. Why is it not? Yeah, see his feet and his mouth are moving. So now I would go to here and I would put him back to normal. See how he's normal again. Then that was a little bad placement on my part. Put another one here, change his feet and mouth up. And yeah, you guys get the point, but then you would go to default timeline, turn on repeat, and then there's your little animation. Obviously it's not great. I put a little more effort into my actual one, but that would be how you create the animation. Once you're done with that, you're going to want to, since he is going to be dealing with physics, you're going to want to turn on physics for him. So you go over here, enable physics, and you want to leave it dynamic. And eventually, when we go to code, we want to do a collision type for the collision delegate that you're going to set. And you're going to want, this is how you make the connection from this builder to code. This would be the name of the actual CC sprite object that you create in code. So I would call it zombie horde. Once you clicked publish, it would now, you'd have to write it in code, but it would recognize that zombie horde when you write it in code is this CC sprite. I'm going to delete this because this is my project. Bring you back, show you my actual animation for him. Yeah, it's a lot better. So go back to main screen. When you're in main screen, to allow physics throughout the game, the first thing you have to do is drag a physics node on the screen. And since the whole screen, you want to have physics, you want to make it 100% of the screen. I did it through here. I'm pretty sure you can drag and pull it, but as you can see, this is the whole physics node. Now, anything you want to have physics, you needs to be a child of the CC physics node, which, as you can see on the bottom where my mouse is right now, the two things right here, BG7, which is the ground, and CCV file, which is the zombie horde, are both childs of the CC physics node. Anything outside of it is not going to deal with physics, which I obviously don't want this background stuff too. That's why it is a part of a child of CC node. But anything you do want physics, you want to be a child of CC physics node. The next thing was my ground, basically the same as the zombie horde character, but the only difference was it is static, not dynamic physics. So next I want to get into code. But before I get into code, I want to cover a few more things. I know I mentioned dynamic and static, but just to go over them, if you want something to be like some type of object that doesn't really necessarily move from gravity, I mean something that like you collide into like a wall or the ground, you want it to be static. While like my main character who jumps and who moves, you want him to be dynamic, that he's affected by gravity and he's movable. Next thing, I know I mentioned this before, but just to go over it again, how you make a code connections between anything you do in this program is through the code connections submenu here. For the zombie horde, I have him named as zombie horde, so in code I have to now go and create a zombie horde CC sprite object and force unwrap it, because we know he's made, he's an object, he's right here. The physics node, or the game physics, I named it game physics, and he's right here. He's a CC physics node, and also I unwrapped it because he does exist. He's part of this game engine I created here. The reset button, which is invisible, he's right here. Then the backdrops, which is here. It's a CC sprite and a CC sprite. If you wanted to create a custom class of these objects to, I don't know, maybe like randomize them or something like that, you would do that here, and then yet again you'd have to go into code, and it doesn't, like, when you publish it, it doesn't just create those variables for you. You actually have to go in and type them. You have to make sure that they're the same name and whatnot like that, or your program will crash. But let's go into code a little bit. I'm not going to go too much over my logic, but I'll go over some of the basics of the framework. To begin, as you can see, here's all my variables, and then here we have did load from CCB, which is my assumption is kind of like view did load. It's when the initial screen loads. And here I'm setting stuff like the collision delegate, which I'm calling here the prototype CC physics collision delegate. I'm setting that here to the game physics. So the delegate of the collision is the game physics. So anything that happens in that CC physics node that I previously showed you in the this builder, which is just the ground and the main character. So I called one of the functions from that protocol, which is called CC collision began, which is when two objects in that CC physics CC physics node collides, which would be either the ground colliding with the character colliding with the ground. I actually really liked how they did this. All you had to do was name a collision type. So you would go into here, and in your physics side menu, you would name the collision type zombie, and then in the function call, you would change the first CC node that's going to collide with the second node to the names of the collision types. The first one was zombie, and the second one was ground. Anytime they are touched, this function is going to be called. And then you do accordingly of what you need in there. Touch began was when the screen receives a touch, that function is going to go off, and you do anything you'd want to receive there. There's also one that I think touch ended or touch cancel. There's a few other ones like that. There's also other collision began. There's I think one that gives you back how hard it collided, and one that when collision ends. The next thing is the update method, and this is when the frame changes. Every time the frame changes, this is called. Every time the game loop goes off and the frame changes, this is called, which is a lot, like every second, essentially. And then this would be some custom functions I created. So, yeah, let's run the game. Hold on. Let me move it. I don't know why it did that. Normally it starts the right way, but yeah. So he's got double jump. However you want to time it, you can get him up really high, or you could just like time it so that he just makes it. I honestly wanted to add a lot more to this game. I wish I had a little bit more time and focus on it and add more to it. Like as you could see, these what are they called, platforms are the same distance, so not like randomized or anything. It was one of the things I wanted to add were randomizing the placement of these platforms so that you couldn't just figure out the distance and figure out how you could jump between them like I'm doing now. There's also a few other characters I wanted to add on, maybe be able to change the color, the background too. You see how it's moving slowly. There's only 2 backgrounds at the moment. I'd like to be able to loop them too. There's a bunch more I'd like to actually work on it, but yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching my video.